I kind of want to switch back to, just moving on from the 7 to the 8 figures and on, right? So you've really had this growth trajectory, right? Just investing in marketing and doing the right things and taking care of your clients and looking at long-term orientation. So how have you installed this culture, to over 160 employees? How do you get them all rowing the same direction?
Well, I haven't figured that out completely because not everyone's rowing in the same direction. But the goal is most people are rowing in the same direction, and they're not here too long if they're not rowing in that direction, right?
Right.
But the best word to describe it is messy, trial and error. And one of our core values, Chris, is win-win-win. And so if we can't see how our employees win, if we can't see how our clients win, and if we can't see how that produces sustainable growth and profitability for the business, we will not make the decision. We will not proceed with the change. And that's been kind of our balancing core value, that when we say, hey, we want to grow by this amount next year, or we want to prioritize working in these types of industries, we always come back and say, does this contribute to a win-win-win? Because if it doesn't, it will be short-lived. If it does check the box on all three of those things, the business, the employees, and the clients are winning, then it actually feels great and people are more naturally incentivized to row in the same direction together. So we're not perfect at that, but that is the core value that we lean back on to help us navigate moving the business forward. And I think we do a good job with it.
I imagine that value also contributes to not taking on clients that you shouldn't, even though they may have the budget, but may beat up the employees a little bit or want all this bespoke craziness that doesn't fit the normal things you do.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of wanted to lean into this a little further because, you've got over 100 employees, right? Not and everyone's looking for labor-based leverage. So tell me about just like maybe things that you think about in terms of like, say, HR and managing people. So many companies, including myself, I was really resistant to HR because, I don't like those non-revenue generating employees. And it's just like, I don't need that, right? Everyone likes each other. And then you need to recruit a bunch of employees. And then you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll pay the outsourced company that doesn't have our values, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about, just how you approach and think about this, about labor-based leverage and growing the staff and doing your best. Like you said, it's not perfect, but if they're not rowing the right direction, you get rid of them.
Yeah. It's kind of like choose your hard. I mean, I love that quote. There typically isn't a solution that's all peaches and roses and just feels fantastic all the time. So when it comes to, let's talk about HR for just a minute. And I'm pretty careful about that because it's easy to get a company or HR that tries to start keeping all of our employees happy. And then it starts to become the culture centered around trying to keep people happy. And Chris, when you try to keep someone happy, what I'm actually communicating to you is I don't think you're capable of keeping yourself happy. So let me solve that for you. And that's why it never works, because you can't solve that for someone. They have to solve that for themselves, which again, one of our core values is inside out. We can't feel better on the inside by trying to make everything outside of us change. We actually have to go inward first to solve that. And so I want to create a culture that's based on our values and our higher purpose as a company. I think marketers bring a true gift to the world, which is when a marketer is living authentic to who they are and supporting a business that they believe in, magical things happen that I cannot replicate with any training program, with anything. That's what matters the most. And our core values and our training is what is centered around helping marketers remember and live in alignment with who they are. And then we will only work with businesses that we like the person we're going to work with, and the business at least has a good why behind their goals. And then when those things happen, that's how we create a culture that is more sustainable, that attracts, retains top talent, and attracts and retains great accounts for us to work with as well.